Alrighty, welcome to the Package Group weekly retrospective for November 8th, 2019. I'm saying the year because I'm just sort of thinking someone will watch this like 2 years from now because it's on YouTube and they'll be like, wait, when was this? Anyway, so we're going to kick off with Tim, who's not here right now, so I'll read for Tim. And Tim said, being sick was no fun, and I'm out 2 days next week for ProductCon. Yeah, I can relate. Nico, you're up next. Wait, is Nico actually here? I don't think Nico's here either. Nico said 5 at Mars this week in what went not so well. And then Gigi said, wait, isn't that good? So I'll continue reading for Gigi. Still confused why one of my MRs hasn't been merged yet, security fixed. And then also mentions that it got to use workflow labels properly. So that was still what went not so well. And over to you, Ian.
Yeah, so I'm sure everyone's going to be real surprised by one of the things that didn't go very well is I was not very productive while being sick. So that was kind of unfortunate. I wasn't able to get everything I wanted to get done. And I think on top of jet lag, I was just kind of not my strongest self this week. Another thing that I noticed is that I have started slipping in terms of protecting my focused hours. I'm real quick to jump on a chat or jump into a thing or have a conversation about this, which I like, and I like to be generous, but I lost a lot of time to actually focus. So I'm going to do a better job kind of managing my time that way. Dan, over to you.
Thank you. And I said, I should probably just say it. That's probably a better way to handle this situation. I realized that I had not been clear on what everyone's roles and responsibilities are, aka boundaries. We're also changing our process, but I have yet to document that. I've had some really great chats with Tim about it, and we have that issue in the team board, but we need to update that and actually define it. And then I started keeping a to-do list in Todoist, actually, which is the product, which I've always found only partially useful, but I hope I can approach it differently this time. And Steve, unless Ian, you want to mention that on the call?
Sure. I was just going to call out one thing that I found really effective compared to other to-do list apps is for the last 3 months, I've actually been scheduling my tasks. And it has really changed how I actually think about my time. So everything is broken into a 30-minute session, and it proved to be really effective to kind of get over that. I have just another list of things to do. Just wanted to share that tidbit.
Yeah, you mentioned that a while ago. I remember you doing that. And so I actually tried to do it and I couldn't figure it out, and then I was busy. So, so that's on me, I think. So maybe you could share in like the sync. Maybe you could share like how you're actually doing that. Maybe just some pointers to a page or something basic would be awesome. Thank you for that. And do you want to verbalize this, Haley, or are you just more thinking of?
Yeah, one of the things about, so there's a GitLab to do like thing, but its items are only like automatically added. And it would be kind of cool if you could just like do a plus and like put something down, but it doesn't seem to be there. I don't know if like, that seems like, to me that seems obvious. I don't know if that's been like asked and there's a reason why it hasn't happened.
Yeah,
who's responsible?
Yeah, I don't actually have an answer to that either. That's part of the reason why I don't use the to-dos for GitLab as well, because if anyone can basically set a to-do for me. And the broader your scope in terms of your role, the more that happens. So I need something I can control, but I think on the app front, what's helpful is it follows me around from device to phone to laptop, and I can always add things and remove things from it, and that's something that I find quite useful. But yeah, it's a good question, Haley. It might be worth raising this with the team responsible. I don't have exact team right now, but maybe follow up with that. Cool. Over to Steve.
This week what went not so well. The remaining Conan reviews are still moving slowly in terms of going back and forth with reviewers. There's just long wait times. and I've had to ping some of them after waiting for more than 24 hours to hear back. And additionally, I keep forgetting to spend a half hour every day waiting bugs. But today I actually scheduled 30 minutes on my calendar to hopefully force me to do that. So we will see. Over to Nick.
Yeah, so for me, I've got an MR that's been waiting to be merged now for a few days, and it just hasn't been merged. And it's a bit of a shame because it's holding up some work that Nico's doing, and also I'll probably have at least 2 MRs off of this to add new features to the page. So yeah, I'm hoping that will get merged shortly because I've responded to all the maintainer feedback. So just waiting for the maintainer to press the button now. Oh, I'll add the link into the doc in a sec. And over to David.
So for me, this week, I had several pipelines failure with service unavailable when downloading artifacts from coordinator. So it's at the end of the script, and well, it's a bit time wasting, like waiting all the script execution, and then at the end it will just fail. But well, it's how it is. And yeah, I noticed that I'm a bit too quick to open merge requests from issues. So there is an example. It's for the Maven dependency broken thing. And actually, in the current form, the issue cannot be reproduced. So the MR is not useful. So I closed it. I should first better analyze the issue before opening MRs. And over to Heli.
Yeah, so I was working with the GitLab CI and Minio to test out the S3 storage driver for the container registry. So prior to this, our CI only did like the unit tests, and the S3 test actually want an S3 instance to test against, which Minio can emulate. But yeah, so it was somewhat easy to set up just on my laptop, but transferring that to the CI was a bit challenging. And I think a lot of that is, Minio is like an object store. It's just it's a place where you can put blobs of stuff. So it's sort of, it'll run, you can run it as a Docker container on your machine, and it will, you can store data through it, and you can access it like an API. So it's basically mini Amazon S3 for our purposes. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not that experienced. I've never used Minio before, and I'm not that experienced with GitLab CI yet. So like putting them together was like, I kind of was hitting against the edges of my knowledge kind of everywhere. So that was pretty frustrating.
What went on to what went well? All right, so for me, I have a few things that went well. So Dan and I met earlier this week to go over the Kanban, I don't know why I have the extra Y there, process. It feels like it's an actual Kanban process. And I think overall it's an improvement. I'm excited to see it in action. The other thing is created the validation track workflow board. So for people not familiar, we have 2 tracks for the product development process. We have the build track, which most of us here are involved in, and then the validation track is where we do things like user interviews and opportunity canvases and things like that. So we're starting to fill that board with problems that we need to validate. And then Ian and I started working through our jobs to be done and job stories for our stage. Our goal is to create a full scope of all of the job stories for our stage. This way we can prioritize them, validate them, all those things. So it's feeling like we're making really good progress. A lot of things that came out of our Denver co-working day. So it's cool to see the actual work come out of it instead of just, to-do items. On to Nico.
Not present. Do you want to read for him?
Oh yeah. Nico has 5 MRs this week and has an undefined method issue solved.
Yeah, the undefined method issue was the problem with the GDK that someone came in and helped with, I believe. Is that correct to everyone else's recollection?
Yeah,
Awesome.
it did end up not being GDK, but it was solved.
Well, that's good. I guess since I'm already talking, I'll read for Gigi. Gigi's got 3 MRs this week, which is really good, and Nico beat him. So we're having a MR off, apparently, which I personally don't mind if it helps with throughput. But and then Gigi also said, getting help with feedback from Steve has been great. Thanks, Steve. And over to Ian.
Something that's been kind of great this week is I've spoken to a lot of different designers, and they have, in one way or another, come to me asking how our team does such a good job discussing vision and how do we talk about our future and how does everyone get involved in that conversation. So that felt really good. So go team. Now I've lost my place. Oh, and this has nothing to do with package, but I finally actually got my 3rd passport. So I'm not going to get left anywhere. Very exciting. Over to Steve.
For me, the largest of the Conan MRs was merged, which was awesome. It was in review for a very long time with lots of refactoring. And since then, the Conan momentum has just been moving really well. The reviews are moving forward. And hopefully that'll get all finished up within this next week. In addition to that, I had 4 MRs merged this week, so Nico is still the winner.
That's great. Glad to hear the progress on Conan. I know you've been working really hard on that, Steve, so awesome. Thank you very much. I've managed to make some good progress this week in spite of having heaps to do. And when I say heaps to do, I mean, lots of meetings and stuff, so it's hard to get some good focus time sometimes. Our tough conversations effort seems to be paying off a bit. I know it's something that I've had to work on myself, and it's important to call people out. Like, showing care is really, really important. But if by showing care, we don't sort of identify where there are problems, and do so compassionately, obviously. Well, maybe not obviously, but maybe it's obvious to me. I don't know. We can sometimes let ourselves down and other team members down by not sort of identifying where there are issues. 7 CTOs forum was pretty helpful this week with my understanding of some roles in a team. So that's been quite helpful. That happened on Tuesday. So that's my Leadership Development course, which I really enjoy. And over to you, Nick.
Yeah, so Nathan raised an interesting issue this week, and I felt we had a good exchange back and forth there of lots of ideas. I think there's some interesting things in there that we could consider moving forward with. So I encourage everybody to check that out. JUnit, whilst not package related, finally did get merged this week, which is a huge weight off of my back because it felt like that was just dragging on and on and on. And that's a pretty interesting one as well. There's some new UI kind of stuff in there that I've not seen used anywhere else in GitLab at all. So it might be worth checking that out for ideas and inspiration. And I identified a possible issue in the package schedule board that I'm hoping to get to next week. So this is similar to what we've done for NPM on the package detail page, where we're just allowing the installation instructions to be copied and pasted. I feel we could do the same thing for Maven as well, which is what this issue is. So I was going to knock something up hopefully for this next week once that MR is merged, and I can just put it in there and then just get that done as well. Over to David.
So 2 MRs for me this week, and I actually learned that we have a merge parrot in Slack, and this will be awesome. Over to Haley.
So I got my first MR merged to the container registry. So that was really good. There wasn't a lot of feedback even, so I was like pretty pleased.
Nice one. Usually call out who you're going over to next when you're done talking, Haley, is helpful for people. So Nadia.
I guess that's me. Yeah, I wanted to insert my 5 or 20 cents, or I don't know how many. I think you guys are doing an amazing job with Think Big sessions. I've heard a lot of positive things from Ian, from team, and well, participating in one this week. I'm amazed with how much engineering power is there actually. +1, I've never seen that in my experience that engineering is so much involved into this. And yeah, I think you're doing an amazing job. Definitely more ahead of other groups. So well done.
Sweet. Well, did anyone want to talk about anything specifically out of that list? I think Steve, we added an action item here. If no one wants to chat about anything particular in there, maybe Steve, do you want to verbalize?
Sure. Yeah, I just realized after Haley mentioned her MR that since the container registry is like kind of a newish project, it might not be included in any reports or any sort of other dashboards we use. So it might be worth checking to see if that's the case and getting it in there if it's not.
That's a really good point. I can follow up on that. Really good call out. Thank you very much for that, Steve. I'll follow up. Unless Haley wants to, since question mark. I'll follow up on it though. So cool, awesome. So I want to just sort of, unless someone do other people have other things they want to bring up? Like I was going to wrap up and just mention a couple of things, and we're got 5 minutes to go, kind of thing. So if no one has anything particular, I'll just wrap up quickly. I wanted to call out that I shared the dashboards, the new dashboards we have yesterday in Slack. And that's intended to help us get a better handle on how we're doing as a team in terms of the metrics that the organization is looking at as a whole. And I think what I'm hearing from everyone right now is a lot of positive comments about getting MRs merged, and it feels like we've got some good momentum here, which makes me feel really good, because I know we all like to complete work and get things done. So I feel really happy that people are actually being able to be productive. I know we've been sort of messing with process and trying to update things, and we've got a new plan for 12.6, and so I'm hoping we can maintain that sort of throughput that we have going. And I say throughput, but in reality, it's nice to feel like you're completing work, and that's really how I think about those MRs, that customer value actually being merged into production and being released is us getting things done. So that feels super good to me. So thank you very much to everyone for working really hard and sort of working with everyone else in the team to sort of help this be a productive effort. So thanks very much. With that, unless anyone else wants to say anything, raise your hand or whatever. I just want to say I hope everyone enjoys their weekend, and we will see you all on Monday.
Enjoy the weekend, everyone.